Breaking news right now at 5 on WHAS 11 News in the downtown area. LMPD now responding to a deadly motorcycle crash. It happened right on I-64. It's a developing scene at this moment that is causing a major backup. Hello, everyone. I'm Doug Proffitt.
And I'm Shay McAllister. We've just learned some new information about this. Police indicate there were 3 motorcycles traveling at an extremely dangerous high rate of speed when one of those drivers lost control of the bike, hitting a concrete barrier right above 9th Street. They tell us that he was ejected from the bike, falling approximately 30 feet into a nearby parking lot right on Washington Street near the Fraser Museum.
We are then told his motorcycle continued another 250 feet before coming to a final rest. He was pronounced dead by medical professionals on the scene. The other 2 motorcycle drivers did remain on the scene, and they're cooperating with the investigation at this moment. Now, we want to bring you a live view as officials have been closing down the interstate from the 3rd Street exit. Again, this is right there. Look at the far left of your screen. That's what we're talking about. That is the 3rd Street exit. This is right between 9th Street or Roy Wilkins Avenue. But this is from our live weather camera looking down on I-64. And Colleen Peterson is also tracking it right now from our traffic tracker. Colleen?
Yeah, well, the best bet is to just avoid I-64 westbound, even if you're in St. Matthews, because we are seeing a significant buildup. You can still exit to 65 before they get to this close down, but that's going to add some extra time because 65 is looking red. Now, if you're trying to get to Indiana and taking 71, I would go ahead, exit 65 and take the Gene Snyder to 264, then back up to Portland. Or if you know the side streets, of course, you can exit through downtown and west and then re-enter 264 near Portland and 64 across the river. We'll have updates throughout the show.
Colleen, thank you. Now to the other top story impacting so many, waiting for lights, air conditioning, and the return to normal. Power is still out for thousands, but the big news tonight, power crews are getting the number down, close to the 10,000 mark at this hour.
And while some have seen their power knocked out by the storm, crews might have had to turn off power to others to restore power to their neighbors. So let's take a live look now at the LG&E outage map. More than 28,000 people do not have power right now. You can see neighborhoods hit the hardest include Anchorage, Fern Creek, Valley Station, Jeffersontown, and St. Matthews.
We are continuing our coverage of the hard-hit neighborhoods along with businesses helping people out. Ian Hardwitt and photojournalist Emma Gefter are talking to folks from the Highlands to Highview still without power.
Bartender Ashley Kesting is one of thousands in Louisville working while the lights are out at home.
Yes, my first thought was all of the groceries that I had just bought.
But she set those concerns aside temporarily, booking a discount room at the Myriad Hotel where she works.
So I got to spend my Memorial Day out by the pool, having a great day, not worrying about what's going on at my home and my power. And then also, another good night's rest and a hot shower this morning before I had to hop behind the bar.
Until power is restored, the hotel is offering a few dozen rooms for $70 a night, about half their usual rate. 27 of the special rooms are already booked.
We are kind of keeping an eye on the pulse of what's happening as power is, being restored to folks. We know there are still some people that are without power in the community, so we intend to offer it, probably up to at least 10 more rooms.
But for the residents of the Kellerman Place subdivision in Highview, they're used to these 3-day waits for power to be restored. One of them, who's lived here over 20 years, took us into his backyard where he can see the problem firsthand.
We're having storms more consistently, and every time this line goes down and we're out of power. We're the only whole subdivision that's out.
Here's the line he's talking about, which usually stretches from one pole to the next across this tree-packed lot nobody lives on. As we came through the area, the frustrated neighbors gathered at Kim Hill's place to echo their concerns.
Almost every home back here has to go buy a generator because they know it's going to happen.
In Louisville, Ian Hardwitt, WHAS 11, on your side.
Well, if you are one of the unlucky ones without your power right now, remember, if it's been out since Sunday, a lot of the food in your fridge and freezer has probably gone bad. Some important words from foodsafety.gov. When in doubt, throw it out. According to foodsafety.gov, refrigerated perishable foods like eggs, meat, fish, or chicken have to be thrown out if your power is out for more than 4 hours. You can hang on to a few processed and hard cheeses like cheddar, Parmesan, or Romano. As for your freezer, any meat or frozen meals or ice cream has to go if it's been thawed out and stayed thawed out for more than 2 hours.
And an update from the National Weather Service Louisville office. They've confirmed 2 tornadoes so far from this weekend's severe weather. The first happened in Meade County, Kentucky, with an EF1 tornado there. And then Butler and Warren County, Kentucky, saw 1 EF1 tornado cross county lines. And that one saw winds up to 110 miles per hour. Crews are continuing to survey in Logan, Mercer, and Simpson counties.
We know so many people in Louisville and across the state are cleaning up today, even just tree limbs, but you have a nice day to do it.
That's right. LG&E saying their estimated restoration for everybody is tomorrow night at 11. You know, a lot of times they do tend to get on the early side of that, Colleen, which is good. We're going to have to see. They've made great progress today compared to the weekend numbers.
And that's great news, especially because we don't have any rain. We're actually very dry, and the temperatures not too bad. It could be humid out there. It's still pretty hot if you spend more than 20 minutes because that sun is shining. We're in the 80s, and there's barely any clouds out there. So our radar is nice and quiet across the state of Kentucky and the Midwest. Thankfully, we're getting a little bit of a breather from the month of May. I mean, it's been round after round of strong storms. So thankfully this week we're dry until this weekend. 80 degrees we're clocking in here in Louisville. A few clouds out there, 79 degrees over in Fort Knox. And over the next few hours, temperatures are slowly going to cool off. So past 8 p.m. tonight, we'll start to cool off back to the mid to upper 70s and then pretty mild in the 60s tomorrow morning. So if you still don't have power, at least you don't have to worry about too chilly of temperatures. It's going to be fairly mild tomorrow morning. And the best part tomorrow afternoon, we have some drier air, right? So 74 degrees. We're not going to get to the 80s, much more comfortable conditions before your power gets back on, hopefully everybody by tomorrow night. By the time we head towards this weekend, we'll introduce a few more storms in that forecast and also some warmer temperatures. We're getting back to the low to mid 80s this weekend and into the start of next week. Our average high this time of year is 81, so actually the next few days are going to be rather comfortable. I'll talk more about those storm chances for your weekend ahead coming up. Doug, Shay.
All right, Colleen, thank you. And another major story we're following. New developments today in the arrest case of pro golfer Scotty Scheffler. The Jefferson County attorney is returning to the courtroom tomorrow, days ahead of Scheffler's scheduled court date.
Scheffler was arrested hours before his tee time during the second day of the PGA Championship, accused of assaulting a police officer and failing to obey traffic commands while trying to get into the Valhalla golf course. The county attorney issued a statement today saying they will address the court tomorrow at 1. The release indicated Scheffler will not be present, something all parties have agreed on. Steve Romine, Scheffler's attorney, told WHAS11 he will be holding a news conference right after that court proceeding. LMPD has released 2 videos showing parts of the incident, but there is no body camera from the video of the officer who was involved. The officer who arrested Scheffler was disciplined last week for failing to activate his body camera during the incident, which is a violation of department policy. And now some heartbreaking news for the New Albany community. It comes from overnight after police found the body of a 14-year-old boy who had gone missing while swimming in Silver Creek.
His family has identified him as Andre Edwards Jr. Chief Todd Bailey in New Albany says several agencies responded to Silver Creek Monday afternoon near Providence Way. Witnesses told them that Edwards went underwater and did not come back up. Crews searched, as you could see here, along the banks and patrolled in boats for several hours before suspending the search for the night. But then someone discovered the young boy's body around 11:30 last night. The New Albany Police Department is moving forward with a death investigation. One of the responding agencies, the Clarksville Police Chief, released an emotional statement about the search, saying, quote, "Yet we still keep that little bit of hope that we or the fire department can be Superman and save the day. Even though it can't happen that way, later that call comes, so the officers go back one more time with a little hope, only to see the most brutal of disappointment. Now it's time to go home, and you are still covered in mud from your efforts and disappointment. Go home, get some rest, and let's hope tomorrow you can be Superman again."
A reminder, May is National Water Safety Month. It is vital to make sure all kids around you are safe around water. One organization is specifically focused on autistic children. Drowning is the #1 cause of death for autistic children. That's why Feet of Louisville has developed a program called Get Your Feet Wet to teach life-saving swimming skills to autistic children here in our community. Today, we talked to one of the parents who's actually been through the program and says it was really life-changing.
I always worry that Matthew's going to, get into water or something and not be able to do what he needs to do, but when I come see him at the pool or I get in the pool with him, I just kind of like reminds me that no, he's got the tools. He's going to know he's going to be okay, or at least buy some time until somebody can get to him.
The Get Your Feet Wet programs held at All About Kids Sports Center, Aqua Tots, and Home of the Innocents. You can find more information on feetoflouisville.org.
The swimming months are here as kids across Kentuckiana start their summer break, and you may be looking for places to entertain them and beat the heat.
Of course, in Louisville, public pool access is limited right now, with many repairs are underway. Jose Alonso and photojournalist Jessica Farley talked to Louisville leaders today to find out the latest on those renovations and just how important these amenities are.
A line of people were ready to get inside the Fairdale Pool, a place where families can cool down and make a splash, and where kids can have fun.
Sometimes if I'm swimming, I'll make some friends because some people would ask me if they wanted to play something.
Public pools offer inexpensive admission and swimming lessons to multiple families.
Safer your children are around water, and to know their limitations, the better off they're going to be.
I'm from Shepherdsville, and it only takes us about 12-15 minutes to get here. And I love this swimming pool.
But as of this year, only 2 of the 4 public pools in the metro are operating.
We are committed to having more public pools open beginning next summer and beyond.
The 4 locations across the metro are the only public locations that service Louisvillians other than private clubs.
We've got great partnerships with other organizations like the YMCA. Some of those certainly do charge, but they have programs available for kids that we encourage families to enjoy as well.
But renovations are underway and plan to bring new features to the 2 closed locations.
The pools we're going to be replacing Algonquin and Camp Taylor have additional options as far as recreation, like a climbing wall, some slides, a zero-depth entry pool to meet the needs of small kids, older adults, adults with disabilities.
And if you're a family that doesn't live near an operating public pool, there are other alternatives across the metro, just like these splash pads. Locations like Waterfront Park can serve families that don't live near the Sun Valley or Fairdale pools, which are already reaching capacity attendance this past weekend.
With those 2 facilities being closed, we probably will see a little more people coming from outside of this particular community.
For those holding their breath for these changes, the city is diving into the next phases and are hopeful all pools will be open by Memorial Day next year. In Louisville, Jose Alonso, WHAS11 on your side.
Well, the city will host a groundbreaking ceremony tomorrow at the Camp Taylor Pool, where they expect to release more information on the upcoming changes. And routine inspections will impact traffic this week at both ends of the Clark Memorial Bridge, but this time it's not actually on the bridge, it's underneath it. The Kentucky Transportation Cabinet's closing lanes on streets under the bridge in Louisville and Jeffersonville for bridge inspections. These are routine. They happen every 2 years. Daily lane closures start today on North 2nd Street near the KFC Center, as well as West Market Street and West Riverside Drive in Jeffersonville. The daily closures will be 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. through Friday afternoon. Traffic on the bridge itself will not be affected.